You're talking here a little bit about inflation, concerned about a one world currency. Matter of fact, there's even an announcement supposed to come out October 20th that is supposed to be announced. It has something to do with currencies, but we don't know what. Brazil, Russia, India, banking. And there's been talk of a one world currency, or at least maybe of these 5 nations.
Growing rights of the IMF is it'll be just a tyranny too.
Tell us why tyranny. Expound on that a little bit.
It is the agenda. You have been trying to sell that for years, and yet called the agenda. I just saw it the other day. I was quite impressed. A beautiful job. They did a great job.
Who put
the agenda? And it's sure.
All right, I'll start.
I'm not sure
I'll look for it. Yep, I'll look for it.
Yeah, you have to check it out. Yeah,
let me ask you a question. We didn't exist. We left Iraq. Obama tells them 14 months in advance when he's leaving. He leaves, and these radical Islamists beheading, raping, murdering, crucifying, taking over most of Iraq and Syria. What is your take on ISIS long term? Short.
Well, I don't know. It's again that is a derivative of Islam. As long as you've got Islam, you're going to have these tensions in all different kinds of forms. Whether it's Al Qaeda, whether it's ISIS, whether it's this is the legacy of hate that is darkness, grow and get worse. And I think that's something that we need to I just call it the encroaching darkness, but I think it's getting rougher and rougher.
It's the spirit of the Antichrist. Is this just part of it?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean.
Sure, of course. Of course, yeah, I think so.
And
it's part of a whole tide that's coming.
The cruelty of these people is beyond. I mean, they're on the same level as, let's say, the Nazis. The cruelty is beyond. It's barbarians and it's demonic without question. And they're bringing about the Antichrist. I mean, basically, isn't Islam basically bringing about the Antichrist as well? Isn't it really what Islam's about?
Well, I think the one mistake. I respect Joel Richardson and his material. He does a great job. We believe that the what we call the Antichrist is going to include more than just Islam. I think it's going to be a larger umbrella, and so to speak.
Right.
So I think it includes, but is not limited to that.
I agree.
But certainly Islam is a growing major threat to Christianity, planet. And what's amazing is how in the United States media you don't find anyone discussing this.
No, they just ignore it. They don't even want to talk about it. They what's amazing to me is we're the Christians. They keep saying that Christianity is the problem. Christianity is the problem.
They never talk about Christians.
Yeah.
Yeah, they never talk about Christians. Yeah, no, exactly right. And that's just, again, and they also don't really talk about the Shiite-Sunni split. It's astonishing to realize two things: how uninformed they are on the one hand, and yet how managed the news is in the U.S. media. There's a liberal bias. What's a shock is that should be called treason. There's to prevent the truth from being. Make a list of the things you don't know about the sitting president. You don't know one grade he made in any course achievement. You can't sitting in the Oval Office.
Amen.
And in a democracy, that should be treason, because the job of the media is to inform the electorate, and they're shaping their opinions.
Right.
And the media it's a path around it.
Yep.
The strength is no longer there. So if we do our
on a daily basis, and no media by 1 or 2 hours, are you saying that's being deliberately?
I'm sorry, it's too chopped up. I can't tell. What you're saying.
I'm sorry. Do you feel that I do YouTube videos, Chuck, and on news events? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. No, I can. Yes.
Okay. So I do it on a daily basis, current world events and how they relate to Bible prophecy to some degree. And I do that every day. A lot of times I'll come out with a story and I will beat the national media by 2 to 3 hours. And they know it. But it's like they have to wait to get their ducks all in a row on how to present it. And to me, that's basically our major networks have become state-run television networks for the current Obama administration. Do you think that's possible?
I think it's very true. It's very true. The one of the biggest problems in America is getting some freedom of information. And that's why alternative media, like the work that you do, is so crucial.
Thank you.
We need more of that.
We need more of us out there doing it, don't we?
Yes, we do. Actually, we really do.
Something I'd like to take a look also at one more subject here before we wind up here at a time flying. Turkey. Can we talk about Turkey? With this, what is their leader, their prime minister? I can't pronounce his name right. I think it's Erdogan. Is he is he a narcissist or is he a messiah complex? What is his role? Who is he?
I don't know. I don't know him personally. I haven't studied him enough to be competent there. But no question about the fact Turkey is a pivotal aspect of the whole strategic picture for lots of different reasons. They're the major military capability there. They are a member of NATO, a very unusual position. And they're very much a pivot to the whole strategic picture of the Middle East, no question about it.
Wow.
And understanding Turkey and understanding its leadership and what its agenda is important. And it's interesting that it's my understanding that Turkey's the one that shot down a non-trivial issue, shot down the Russian transport plane. So there's some things that are starting to brew here, but Turkey is a key thing to watch, and so I think that's another key.
Some people think that it's Turkey, that if there is, and I'm not saying it's an agreement, it's not a peace treaty, it's when we talk about 927, Daniel 927, we start talking about this this covenant with many. Some people think that Turkey is the one that's kind of the kingpin, is the one that really has to monitor this in the Middle East. I don't know.
I don't quite see it that way, but I think it's well worth watching. And I think it's important for us to understand that the purpose of prophecy is not prediction. Divination is prohibited in the Torah. What we are required to do is be responsible to prepare for coming storms. And so we need to understand the coming storms are coming.
That is what a powerful statement. The purpose of prophecy is not to make predictions, for divination is prohibited in the Torah, but is to prepare for upcoming storms. In other words, through the lens of prophecy, see what's coming.
We have a responsibility to our families and our communities to be prepared for storms that are coming. And it's clear that there are storms that are coming.
Amen.
But that's not the same thing as trying to unravel prophecies to predict the future, because that's a domain that God reserves for himself. He alone knows the end from the beginning.
Yes.
But it is our job to do our homework and be prepared for the storm. And there are storms coming. The darkness is encroaching. We need to understand that.
Do you feel
in our approach? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, do you feel America, I mean, you talked about America in upcoming judgments. Like our judgment has been delayed even. Like we should have already been in judgment. It's just the grace of God, isn't it? Maybe it's the prayers of the saints.
Yes. I believe the abandonment wrath of God has begun. The abandonment wrath is what he did to Samson on that last visit to Delilah. He simply removed his protection.
Wow.
Can you imagine how that shook Samson? The northern kingdom went into idolatry.
Yep.
And God appointed Hosea from the south to go up there and lay out his indictment. Hosea didn't go up there and preach that unless you do this or do that, this is going to... No. And he said, leave Ephraim alone, because he's joined idols. So what God did to the northern kingdom was just remove his protection, and that caused them to be eliminated from history by the Assyrians. 100 years later, the same thing happened to the southern kingdom, in a sense, with Habakkuk and the southern kingdom. We need to understand that one of God's maneuvers is to remove his protection, and I think his abandonment wrath, as we call it, may have already begun for America. And I think that's our problem. We've offended him. We've done everything we can imagine to do to offend him. And so and I can get into a whole other thing on that, but we're running out of time here, I think.
So, in other words, what you're saying, the judgment of God doesn't have to be God sending a plagues upon the land or a drought or something, although he can do that, but simply by abandoning, lifting his hand of protection, just lifting his hand.
Remove his protection, yeah.
Wow.
And there's a very specific judgment of God for those cultures that fail to recognize him as creator.
Chuck, we lost you for a second there, and you were finishing that point.
I was surprised. I suddenly found I had a dead phone.
I'm sorry.
Was it something I said?
No.
I must have offended you, yeah.
No, it wasn't nothing you said. Matter of fact, you had a great point going, and I wanted to hear it, and we lost the connection. So if you want to finish that point, it would be great.
Well, it was a big point. I was just saying that Romans chapter 1, verse 18 to 32, is a judgment of God, a specific judgment of God that he declares for those cultures that fail to acknowledge him as creator. And I was quite shocked to discover that, because I've always thought it was really about another topic. It turns out, no, it's a specific. God says 3 times in that passage, because they don't acknowledge him as creator, I will give them over to that which is not convenient, and goes on to talk about it. So the Romans 1:18 to the end to 32 is a judgment of God specifically.
Wow.
And I think it's part of the abandonment judgment that is on America today.
Wow. Chuck Missler, I'm so thankful, Doctor, that you came on and be with us today. I'd love to sometime have you on my television show and interview you. I think it'd be great.
I'd love to do it, and Tracy will arrange all that if you like.
Okay.
I appreciate the opportunity, and I applaud what you're doing. It's desperately needed.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you coming on. Thank you. We'll work with you on that. Thank you so much.
Okay, my friend.
God bless.
Thank you. Okay, God bless.
Bye-bye.